Hey everyone, today I'm going to be talking about Borderlands 2 and its gamepad aiming issues. There's really nothing we can expect to see done for this game, but since Borderlands 3 has been announced, hopefully this will be used as feedback to see improvements in that game. Getting into it, Borderlands 2 uses about a 20-21% square dead zone, so it takes more stick movement in the corners before you start seeing the cursor move. 20% is a pretty common dead zone size, but it is large. You can make pretty significant movements without seeing any cursor movement occur in-game. And square dead zones have the side effect of restricting diagonal movement around the axes. I can make wobbles like this, but move perfectly left, perfectly right. Yeah, it's obvious up and down. Is until you break into these green regions where you start seeing diagonal movement occur. So this brings us to the first couple of improvements. One would be changing this to a circular dead zone. This would make it so you can exit the dead zone at the same stick deflection on any angle. It should remove these axial dead zones, so you can have full and correct diagonal movement, since diagonal movement isn't correct under this system. And have a slider for the dead zone size. Being able to play with lower dead zones would make aiming feel more responsive and make precise adjustments easier. Moving on, the acceleration increases smoothly, so that's fine. But at 85%, your turn rate increases rapidly. There's this acceleration spike. I also want to point out this is sort of your max. I'm playing on max sensitivity right now, 10 and 10. So this is your kind of max sensitivity before the acceleration spike. So that'll be relevant a little later. But for this acceleration jump can be a little unwieldy since you don't have control over, how much or how fast it increases. And another thing is this triggers at 85%, so that means there's 15% of the stick that is being unused. So it'd be nice to get a slider to customize how much of this acceleration jump we want and to be able to disable it. And to either give us an option for an outer dead zone slider so that we can push where this triggers back, or just have it moved back so we can get more of our stick motion back. The only thing that's also kind of weird with this acceleration threshold, you can see it's a shaded region and it goes off the graph a little bit, is the kind of shape it makes. So it's a sort of squarish shape, and we'd expect it to be kind of a quarter circle normally. And the reason why we expect that is because from the dead zone to this acceleration threshold would be the same on every angle, but it's a little further in the diagonals. It doesn't feel bad, but it's not what we'd expect. But with the change to a circular dead zone, we'd expect this threshold to be a perfect circle, ideally. Now, those are some of the core issues. There's one kind of obnoxious issue, and that's when ADSing, it carries the square dead zone or whatever, but one of the things that doesn't appear is this acceleration jump. It doesn't happen when ADSing. So this is where the max sensitivity I mentioned comes in. So there's not really too much of a slowdown. That's an unfortunate lag spike. Okay, well, we'll just wait for that lag spike to go. Okay. So yeah, there's not much of a slowdown when ADSing, but when you, because of this sort of slower max sensitivity, when you're trying to track someone who's next to you, you might not have enough speed to track someone. And this can be tedious. So being able to set a higher max sensitivity would be nice to get around this. So it's 10 right now, maybe have 20 for Borderlands 3. The other issue with aiming down sights is it changes your X and Y sensitivity ratio. So I've got 10 and 10, so that means vertical is the same as horizontal. But when I aim down sights, here's horizontal, but here's vertical. It's much slower. And this is obnoxious for two reasons. One is, if you're trying to track someone, you might track them fine horizontally, but then they might jump to a higher area and you'll just find yourself like lagging behind or not being able to aim fast enough. The other reason is that differing X and Y sensitivities affect your diagonal movement. So I have them the same. When they're the same, your diagonal movement is correct. Let's ignore the square dead zones making it incorrect. But if I move at a 45-degree angle, my cursor is going to move at 45 degrees. But when I aim down sights, you can see it's more horizontally biased. It's not a 45-degree angle. It's more like 35 or something. And you can actually see the diagonal change when I'm moving in and out of aiming down sights. So this means your diagonals are different when you're hip firing or aiming down sights. And that just shouldn't be the case. ADS should be the exact same ratio you have normally. So, and because we can select this, you can select the exact ratio you want. So if you want a smaller or slower vertical sensitivity, you can set that, and there's nothing wrong with that. And it does affect your diagonal movement. Some people are fine with that, but you shouldn't have the aiming down sights change that. And with how it currently is, you can set it so that vertical sensitivity is lower than horizontal, but it stacks on with this. So look how slow it is now. And this is fast. So you can, and look how definitely not a 45-degree angle that is. That is very horizontally biased direction. So that's something that just shouldn't happen in Borderlands 3. Whatever this ratio is should be applied to ADS. But that about covers everything. To sum up, change this square dead zone into a circular one. That makes it so you can exit the dead zone at the same distance on any angle. It should remove these axial regions so that you should get full and correct diagonal movement. Have a dead zone slider so that you can lower the dead zone if you want to, and that would make aiming feel more precise and much more responsive. Add an acceleration slider so that we can customize it to our liking or disable it. Either add a outer dead zone option to push this back ourselves, or just push this threshold back so we can get some more stick movement. Have a higher sensitivity cap. So this is the max sensitivity we have now. Maybe boost it to about 20. So that our ADS can be a little higher since it doesn't have acceleration for it. And not have any of the vertical sensitivity switching that ADS currently has. There's one really minor almost request. It's not an issue, but having the option to control the acceleration curve, so how your stick distance turns into acceleration. So as I'm moving it further, the acceleration is increasing. Having something to control the curve that this follows would be awesome. Not an issue, but something that would give players a huge amount of control. Other games have had the player edit the degree over a power function to do so, and that would work perfectly fine here. Again, not necessary, but it'd be awesome to have. And maybe and aim down sights slider, just because if we increase the, say, your hip fire sensitivity, like what we have right here, to 20, maybe someone likes this current one, so they'd want to set it to 10 or something. And that'd be great to have too. I mean, this is a lot of options to ask for, but it would make Borderlands 3 feel like it's like grease lightning to play. But yeah, I mean, some of the very core ones would be changing to a circular dead zone and adding dead zone options, and getting rid of this this slowdown, the vertical slowdown for ADSing. But that about covers it. Finished rambling. Hopefully we'll see Borderlands 3 control as smoothly as possible. And yeah, thanks for watching. Everyone have a good rest of their day.